Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the burden of emotional attachment, feeling trapped in a cycle that seems impossible to break? You're not alone. Many people experience the struggle of letting go, feeling powerless and stuck in their emotions. But here's the silver lining. Change is not only possible, but well within your reach. Inspired by the timeless wisdom of ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, this video will reveal 10 powerful Stoic rules to help you emotionally detach from someone. Why is detachment so transformative? As Seneca wisely said, "He who is brave is free." Detachment doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means finding strength and clarity within yourself. In this video, we will explore profound Stoic principles that guide you on a journey towards emotional freedom. By integrating these habits into your daily life, you will discover practical and healthy strategies to loosen the grip of emotional attachment, allowing you to reclaim your peace of mind and focus on what truly matters. Imagine saying goodbye to the mental shackles that bind you and embracing a newfound sense of clarity and focus. The teachings of Stoicism will empower you to navigate your emotions with resilience and wisdom. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. By applying these teachings, you will learn to prioritize your inner peace over external circumstances. Are you ready to break free from the chains of emotional attachment and embrace the power of personal growth? If so, this video is for you. We will guide you through 10 Stoic habits that will transform your approach to emotional detachment. Let's begin by asking ourselves what truly holds value in our lives, if not the peace within our minds. Join us as we explore these rules, paving the way toward a liberated Stoic mindset. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please hit the subscribe button and join our community for more insightful content. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below. If you're not sure what to say, just type "Emotional freedom starts now." Let's dive in and begin this journey of emotional liberation together. Rule number 1: the power of detachment. Have you ever felt like your emotions are a puppet with someone else pulling the strings? Ever wondered how much control you've handed over to others simply because of your attachments? This is where the power of detachment comes into play. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start living a life where your peace and happiness aren't dictated by external factors. Why is detachment so transformative? Consider the wisdom of Epictetus, who said we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. Detachment is about reclaiming your power, understanding that while you cannot control external events, you can control your response to them. Think about it. When we cling too tightly to people or situations, they begin to control us. It's like giving someone else the remote to your feelings, letting them flip through the channels at will. Their influence can dictate your happiness, your sadness, and in extreme cases, can drive you to make irreversible decisions. Detachment is about reclaiming that remote and deciding for yourself which channels to watch. Imagine your emotions are like a kite. Every string attached to something or someone represents a potential direction your emotions can be pulled. If you hold on to too many strings or one too tightly, you're at the mercy of the wind. Stoicism teaches us to loosen our grip, to understand that while we can't control the wind, we can decide which strings to hold. This approach doesn't make you cold or indifferent. It makes you grounded and resilient. Let's get practical. Start by identifying what or who you're overly attached to. Next, ask yourself why. Are you seeking validation, afraid of loneliness, or something else? Understanding the root of your attachment is the first step in loosening its grip. Now engage in activities that fill you with a sense of purpose and satisfaction. By focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't, you begin to anchor yourself in your own strength and values. As you embrace detachment, you start to see the world differently. You recognize that your worth is not tied to external circumstances, but is intrinsic and unwavering. This realization empowers you to move forward with clarity and confidence, free from the mental shackles of attachment. Remember, as Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." By practicing detachment, you are not withdrawing from life, but engaging with it more fully, with a clear mind and a steady heart. Rule number 2. Understanding attachment. Ever wondered why we cling so tightly to certain people or situations, even when it causes us pain? What drives this need to hold on, and how can we break free from it? Understanding attachment is a key step in the journey toward emotional detachment and personal freedom. Let's dive deep into this concept, drawing wisdom from the Stoic philosophers to guide us. Attachment at its core is rooted in our ego. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This wisdom highlights the essence of attachment, our desires and perceived needs. When we're attached to something or someone, we often operate from a place of ego, seeking validation, security, or a sense of identity from external sources. Consider a newborn baby radiating joy and untouched by the complexities of ego. As we grow, our ego begins to take the driver's seat, cluttering our lives with attachments. These attachments, whether to people, objects, or ideals, cloud our judgment and distract us from our true essence, which is love and self-contentment. Have you ever felt that your happiness hinges on another person's approval or presence? This is a clear sign of ego-driven attachment. To begin untangling ourselves from these attachments, we must first recognize them for what they are, products of our ego, seeking security and validation. Ask yourself, why am I so attached to this person or outcome? What fear or desire is driving this attachment? Understanding the root of your attachment is the first step in loosening its grip. Now imagine living a life from a place of love rather than ego. What if you could trust in the abundance of the universe, believing that what's meant for you will find its way? This mindset shift is powerful. It's about recognizing your inherent worth and capabilities, independent of external factors. As you begin to view your desires and connections through this lens, you'll start to see the unnecessary weight they add to your life. Embrace in the concept of abundance is crucial. When you let go of the fear of loss, the universe often rewards you with more than what you let go of. Detachment doesn't mean you care less. It means you understand better. It means staying true to your essence and letting love guide you rather than fear. The journey towards detachment is transformative. It's about shedding layers of ego to uncover the resilient, love-filled soul beneath. It's about moving forward with lightness, free from the burdens of attachment and ready to welcome new blessings with open arms and a steadfast heart. By prioritizing your inner peace over external validation, you pave the way for a life of true emotional freedom and fulfillment. Rule number 3: the illusion of control. Let's be honest for a second. How many times have you tried to fix a relationship by doing more, sending the perfect message, saying the right thing, showing up bending backwards, hoping they'd finally see your worth? And yet, nothing changed. Here's the truth. You weren't in control. You only thought you were. This is what Stoics call the illusion of control. And if you're serious about emotional detachment, you have to shatter it right now. We've all been there. You think, if I just try harder, they'll come back. Or if I play it right, I can get their attention again. That belief is seductive. It feels empowering. But in reality, it traps you. You're not holding the strings. You're the puppet. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing we truly control is ourselves, not them, not their feelings, not how they respond, just you. Your thoughts, your choices, your reactions. As Marcus Aurelius put it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Now, think about that. Imagine how much pain you could have avoided if you stopped trying to control what you never owned. Let's break this down practically. You're texting them, waiting on read receipts, obsessing over the reply that never comes. What you're really doing is handing over your peace in exchange for a maybe. Every moment you live like this, you're gambling your sanity on someone else's behavior. And when they don't deliver, you spiral. Sound familiar? It's time to take your power back. Let me ask you, if they suddenly gave you everything you wanted, attention, commitment, validation, would you feel whole or just temporarily relieved? Most of the time, what we chase isn't love. It's control disguised as affection. You're not addicted to the person, you're addicted to the feeling of mattering. But here's the twist: the more you try to control them, the more you lose yourself. The more desperate you act, the less they respect you. It's brutal, but real. So how do we break this pattern? First, recognize the lie: you were never in control of them. Not even when things were good. Their thoughts, their choices, their emotions, that's their domain, not yours. Second, shift the spotlight inward. Instead of asking why aren't they responding, ask why am I letting this consume me? That's where your work begins. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Read that again. Freedom isn't about winning someone back. It's about letting go of everything you can't govern, especially people. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop contorting yourself for someone else's comfort. You stop chasing what was never meant to be controlled in the first place. Now, let's go deeper. Why do we even fall into this trap? Because control gives us the illusion of safety. If we can predict how someone feels about us, maybe we won't get hurt. Maybe we won't be abandoned. But life doesn't work like that. People leave, feelings fade, priorities shift. The only constant is you. So the smartest move isn't to control them. It's to become so grounded in yourself that their actions lose their grip on your peace. This mindset is liberating. And ironically, it's attractive. When you stop trying to control the outcome, you radiate calm confidence. You become the kind of man who isn't shaken by silence, who doesn't panic when things feel uncertain. And that energy people notice. Often, the very ones who pulled away start leaning back in, not because you begged, but because you backed off. Now, here's a Stoic challenge for you. Next time you feel that urge to text, to check their feed, to analyze what they meant, pause. Ask yourself, am I acting from power or panic? Choose power. And while you're at it, remind yourself of this. You don't need their response to be okay. You don't need their attention to matter. You are not defined by someone else's capacity or incapacity to love you. The moment you truly accept that is the moment you begin to detach, not out of bitterness, but out of strength. If you're watching this and you felt this grip, the pain of trying to hold on to someone slipping away, know this: you're not weak, you're just human. But that illusion, it's time to break it. Rule number 3 isn't just a lesson, it's a turning point. So pause, breathe, take back your mind, and walk forward, not chasing, not clinging, but owning the one thing that's always been yours, your inner power. Comment below if this hit home. Just type, "I've felt that." You're not the only one, and you're definitely not alone. And here's a thought to carry with you. The moment you stop trying to control them is often the moment they start thinking about you again. Let that sit for a while. And when you're ready for more, you'll know where to find it. Rule number 4. Detachment in practice. Let's stop talking about ideas for a second. Let's talk about what detachment actually looks like when you live it. Not just read it, not just think about it, but when you wake up one morning and decide, I'm done being controlled by what I can't control. Detachment isn't about cutting people off cold or pretending you're made of stone. It's not about becoming heartless or emotionally unavailable. It's about reclaiming space. It's about creating distance between what happens and how you respond. That space right there is where your real power lives. You see, a lot of people think detachment means not caring. That's false. Detachment means caring selectively. It means refusing to pour your energy into someone who can't or won't meet you with the same respect. It means saying, I can love, I can feel, but I don't have to lose myself in the process. So how do you practice it? You start by watching your impulses. That moment you want to send a message just to feel seen. That urge to check if they've watched your story, liked your post, left a breadcrumb you can chew on. That's where it begins. Not by doing something, but by choosing not to. By taking that one beat of silence before the reaction kicks in and asking yourself, does this bring me peace or does it keep me addicted? If you're honest, most of those little habits, the late night scrolls, the overanalysis, the what if loops, none of them bring you peace. They feed the illusion that you're still somehow connected when in reality you're just feeding your own anxiety. And let's be clear, practicing detachment doesn't mean pretending like it doesn't hurt. It means you let it hurt without letting it lead. It means you acknowledge the ache, but you don't hand it the steering wheel. This is where building new routines comes in. If that person used to fill your mornings, fill them with something that makes you stronger. Read something that sharpens you. Move your body. Learn something new. Not to distract yourself, but to develop yourself. Every time you invest in your own growth, you prove to yourself that you don't need someone else to give you permission to feel whole. And if you're still clinging to the idea of closure, here's the truth. You don't need their explanation to move forward. You don't need their approval to be at peace. Closure isn't a conversation. It's a decision. It happens when you stop rereading the same story and realize the ending doesn't matter as much as how you write your next chapter. You don't detach because you hate them. You detach because you love yourself enough not to beg anymore. It's a shift in power. It's you saying, I'm not chasing you, I'm choosing me. Now listen. If you've been resonating with this, if you're the kind of man who's done being passive, done being played and ready to take back control of your emotional life, then make this your home. Hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, don't just watch, be part of this movement. This channel is for men who are rebuilding from the inside out, using Stoicism as the foundation. And if you're ready to take it even further, consider joining as a channel member. Inside our private Stoic Brotherhood, we go deeper. Weekly insights, member-only Q&As, tactical breakdowns on mindset, emotional control, and male power, built for guys who aren't here to vent, but to level up. If you're tired of surface-level content and ready for serious internal growth, click join. No pressure, but it's there when you're ready. And don't worry if you're not there yet. Growth is messy. Healing takes time. But every moment you choose discipline over reaction, every time you hold your peace instead of chasing a response, you're practicing detachment. You're training your mind to serve you, not sabotage you. Eventually you'll feel it. The shift. That day when you don't care whether they viewed your story. That day when your silence feels more powerful than any paragraph you could have written. That day when you're focused on your next move, not their next mood. And that day, that's when you'll know you've won. Comment below. I want this. If you're done giving your energy to people who never earned it, let them wonder why you stopped reaching out. Let them miss the version of you they'll never have again. And as for you, keep building. Because when you detach with purpose, not bitterness, you don't just get stronger. You become magnetic. You're not invisible. You're just unavailable to the wrong ones. And that's exactly where your strength begins. Now carry that energy into everything you do. Rule number 5, the path to happiness. Let's talk about something most people chase their whole lives and still never catch. Happiness. You've probably heard it all before. Do what makes you happy. Follow your bliss. But let me ask you something real. Has chasing what feels good ever brought you lasting peace? Or has it just distracted you long enough to ignore what's really going on inside? Here's what Stoicism teaches, what most people get dead wrong. Happiness isn't found in what you get. It's found in what you let go of. Let me say that again because it matters. The path to happiness isn't about adding more to your life. It's about removing what keeps you from living freely. That includes toxic people. That includes expectations you can't control. And yes, it includes the fantasy that someone else is responsible for your joy. You see, when you tie your happiness to anything outside yourself, a person, a relationship, a job, a number on a screen, you're handing over your peace like it's a toy. And the moment that thing shifts or disappears, you're shattered. That's not happiness, that's dependency. So, what's the alternative? Real happiness, the Stoic kind, starts when you take full ownership of your emotions, your thoughts, your habits. It begins when you realize you are enough with or without their approval. But let's be honest, that's hard. Because we've been wired to believe happiness is out there somewhere, in the next person, the next vacation, the next perfect situation. And what does that create? A cycle of chasing, always reaching, never resting. You want to break that cycle. Here's the shift. Instead of asking, what will make me happy? Ask, what am I doing that's making me unhappy? That one question changes everything. Start paying attention. The way you replay conversations in your head, does that bring peace? The way you put your worth in whether someone texts you back, does that bring strength? The way you hold on to memories that only drain you, does that bring freedom? If not, then why are you doing it? This isn't about being cold or careless. It's about being wise enough to stop bleeding for things that never healed you. One of the most powerful lessons from Marcus Aurelius is this: very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Think about that. He ruled an empire, and he still understood that happiness wasn't about what he had. It was about what he controlled inside. And guess what? That same power is in you. You don't need the perfect relationship to be whole. You don't need their attention to feel alive. You don't need everything to make sense before you choose peace. Sometimes peace comes when you stop demanding answers and start making decisions. Decide you've given enough. Decide to show up for yourself. Decide to stop chasing people who don't see you. Because the truth is, you were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong people. And when you let go of trying to convince someone of your value, happiness sneaks in through the silence. In the quiet moments when you're not performing, not begging, not waiting, just being. That's the path to happiness. Not a place you arrive at, a way you walk every day. It looks like turning off your phone instead of refreshing that page. It looks like sitting with your discomfort instead of reaching for validation. It looks like choosing discipline over distraction, again and again. And here's the beautiful part. The more you walk that path, the less you tolerate anything that leads you away from it. You get clear, you get grounded. You become the kind of man who builds peace, not begs for it. If that's where you want to be, then keep walking, keep showing up. Not for them, for you. Comment below. I've seen this. If you're ready to stop chasing, and start choosing your own peace. You don't have to figure it all out today. Just take the next honest step toward who you were meant to be. That's the real path. And it's been yours the whole time. You just had to stop looking for it in someone else. Rule number 6. Embrace the present moment. Let me ask you something that most people don't want to answer. Honestly, when was the last time you were actually here? Not in your past, not lost in a memory, not jumping ahead to something that might or might never happen. I mean here, right now, in this moment. Most of us aren't. We live on autopilot, checking our phones, rewinding old conversations in our heads, imagining what we should have said or worrying what might happen next. And while our minds are trapped in the past or the future, our lives slip by quietly, moment by moment. This is why the Stoics put so much weight on presence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." It wasn't poetic, it was a command. Because presence is the only place real power exists. Think about it. Nothing has ever happened outside of now. Every decision, every feeling, every move, it only exists in the present. The future is just a thought. The past is just a shadow. The present is real, and yet we fight it, especially when we're hurting. After a breakup or a moment of rejection, what do? We dive into the past. We replay what went wrong. We dissect every word. Or we shoot into the future, imagining if they'll come back or who they'll be with next. What we don't do is stay. We don't breathe. We don't feel what we're actually feeling. We run from the moment that could set us free because that moment is raw and quiet and brutally honest. But here's the thing, that's the doorway to peace, not escape, not fantasy, not distraction, presence. So how do you get there? It starts by noticing how often you leave. Next time you're in a room, stop and check in. Where's your mind? Are you in a fight that ended yesterday? Are you in a fantasy about a person who isn't texting back? Are you scripting a scenario that hasn't even happened? That awareness is the first step. And from there you practice. You stop. You take a breath. You ground yourself in what you see, hear, and feel right now. The way the air moves, the tension in your jaw, the way your chest rises when you breathe in fully. Sounds simple, but it's the hardest thing you'll ever do consistently, because presence requires surrender. You have to stop trying to rewrite the past. You have to stop trying to predict the future. You have to stop asking why and start asking what now. And that's uncomfortable at first, but eventually you'll notice something when you're present. You're not desperate. You're not panicking. You're not looking outward for answers that were always inward. You just are. And that's powerful. When you embrace the present moment, you stop waiting for life to start. You realize this is it. This is where the change happens. This is where healing begins. This is where peace lives. The people who hurt you, they don't exist in this moment, not unless you bring them with you. The fear of being alone tomorrow, it's just a thought until you give it power. But the present, it's solid, it's honest, it's yours. And the more time you spend in it, the more you understand something most men never learn until it's too late. Presence isn't passive, it's a weapon. Because when you're fully here, no one can manipulate you. You're not reactive. You're not chasing. You're not haunted. You're clear, focused, grounded. And that kind of energy is rare. It's felt. You become the calm in the chaos, the anchor in the storm, the man who doesn't need noise to prove his worth because he's present enough to know it. So, if you've been lost in loops, come back, right now, to this moment, to this breath. And if something in you whispered, "Yeah, I felt that," then leave a comment right now. I felt that. Say it, own it, because presence starts with telling the truth. You don't need to fix the whole story today. Just close the tabs in your mind and be here fully, simply, honestly. That's rule number 6. And it might just be the hardest one, but it's also the one that changes everything. Rule number 7. Reframe your thoughts. Let's talk about what really runs your life, your thoughts. Not your job, not your relationship status, not how people treat you, but the way you interpret all of that, the way you think about it. It sounds simple, but the truth is, most people never question their own thoughts. They just accept them. If a voice says, "You're not good enough," they believe it. If a thought says, "She left because you weren't man enough," they carry that like it's written in stone. But here's what Stoicism teaches us: your thoughts are not facts, they're filters. And you have the power to change the filter. That's what reframing is all about. It's the ability to see the exact same situation from a stronger angle, from a place of logic, clarity and control, instead of insecurity and panic. Let me give you something real. Let's say someone pulls away from you, stops calling. You immediately think, "I did something wrong." That thought triggers doubt, self-blame, overanalyzing. It's a downward spiral. But what if you reframed it? What if you told yourself, "If they walk away, that's their truth revealing itself. That's life sorting people out for me." Now pause. Same situation, totally different power level. This isn't about lying to yourself. Reframing isn't pretending something didn't hurt. It's choosing to process that hurt in a way that builds you, not breaks you. Epictetus said it like this: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And your reaction, it starts with how you frame it in your mind. This is where a lot of guys get stuck, because they think strength is just about not showing emotion. But real strength, it's mental agility. It's being able to pause and ask, is this thought helping me or hurting me? If it's hurting you, challenge it. Seriously. Question that inner critic like you'd question someone talking down to your best friend. Who says I'm not enough? Why do I believe their silence means I'm unworthy? You'd be shocked how much of your pain doesn't come from what happened, but from the meaning you gave it. And that's where the shift begins. Start turning every disempowering thought into a question, not a statement. Don't say, "She left because I'm not enough." Ask, "What does this teach me about what I value and accept?" See the difference. When you reframe, you move from victim to observer, from emotional chaos to grounded response. You stop letting your thoughts bully you into fear and start training them to lead you to clarity. And this takes practice. You won't rewire years of mental conditioning in a day, but you can start today. And if you keep doing it over and over, it changes the way you experience everything. A failed relationship becomes feedback. Rejection becomes redirection. Silence becomes space to grow. Your whole world can shift without anything external changing, just by shifting the story you tell yourself. This is why presence, like we talked about earlier, and reframing go hand in hand. You can't reframe a thought you're not even aware you're having. And most of us are so caught in mental autopilot we don't even see how brutal our inner dialogue is. So try this for one full day. Monitor your thoughts like a security guard. Not with judgment, but with attention. Every time a thought enters, ask, "Is this useful?" If not, reframe it, or let it pass. Don't fight every thought. That's exhausting. Just learn to spot the ones that lie and refuse to give them power. Comment below, "I've seen this." If you've ever believed a thought that later turned out to be complete garbage, that awareness right there, that's your leverage point. That's how Stoics win battles others don't even realize are happening, because those battles are internal. And when you master that mental space, when you train your thoughts to serve you, instead of sabotage you, people will feel something different about you. Not louder, not more aggressive, just more grounded, more solid, unshakable. Because while everyone else is out there reacting, chasing, spiraling, you're over here reframing. And that's a skill no one can take from you. That's rule number 7. And trust me, it's one that'll carry you through more than just relationships. It'll carry you through life. Rule number 8. Set healthy boundaries. Let's talk about a word that makes a lot of people uncomfortable: boundaries. Some think boundaries mean being harsh. Others think it's about building walls or pushing people away. But here's the truth: boundaries aren't about distance, they're about direction. They're not about cutting people off. They're about protecting your peace. And if you're on the journey of emotional detachment, setting boundaries isn't optional, it's survival. Because without them, you become available to everything. Every late-night text, every hot and cold game, every mood swing that has nothing to do with you, but ends up pulling you down anyway. Let me make this real. Have you ever stayed in a conversation that drained you? Entertained a person who kept crossing the line because part of you hoped they'd eventually stop? That's not loyalty, that's self-betrayal. And it always comes at a cost. The Stoics knew this. Epictetus said, "Keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern." That's what a boundary is. It's the line between what's yours and what's not. But most men don't get taught how to draw that line. We're told to be strong, but never told that strength sometimes means saying no. That real masculinity isn't about taking on more, it's about knowing what not to carry. So let's get clear. What does a healthy boundary actually look like? It's not a threat. It's not a demand. It's a simple, solid line that says, this is what I accept. This is what I won't tolerate. And if you cross that, I'll step back, not to hurt you, but to honor me. It's texting back later, not out of manipulation, but because you're not available every time your phone lights up. It's ending a call that turns toxic, not with drama, but with calm. I don't continue conversations that go in this direction. It's unfollowing someone who triggers more pain than growth, not to get their attention, but to get yours back. And maybe the hardest one of all, it's walking away not because you stopped caring, but because you finally started. But here's the catch: boundaries mean nothing if you don't enforce them. A line is only respected if you hold it. Most people don't test your words, they test your consistency. If you say, "I won't be treated this way," but stay when they do, it's not a boundary. It's a suggestion, and your peace deserves better than that. Now let's talk about why this is so hard, because it is. For a lot of men, setting boundaries feels selfish, especially if you were raised to keep the peace, avoid conflict, or earn love by being easygoing. But let me flip that. What if setting boundaries isn't selfish, but sacred? What if it's the clearest sign that you value yourself, that you've stopped outsourcing your worth to someone else's mood? Because that's what boundaries do. They reclaim your time, your energy, your mental clarity. And in doing that, they give you back to you. It won't always feel good. Some people will get upset. Some might disappear. But that's not rejection. That's revelation. Boundaries don't push the right people away. They reveal who was never meant to stay. And the ones who respect them, they're the ones you want close. So if you've been feeling drained, resentful, or like you're losing yourself in someone else's chaos, it's time. Time to stop negotiating with your peace. Time to stop hoping people just get it. Time to draw the damn line. You're not here to be consumed. You're here to create, to lead, to protect your own internal world. Like it matters, because it does. Comment below, I felt that. If you've ever held back on setting a boundary just to keep someone else comfortable. And remember, these boundaries aren't the end of connection. They're the beginning of real ones. Because when you show up with clarity, with standards, with calm strength, you stop attracting people who want to drain you. And you start drawing in those who respect the version of you who respects himself. That's rule number 8. Set the line. hold it, and watch what happens. Rule number 9. Engage in self-care. Let's get one thing straight. Self-care isn't soft. It's not bubble baths and face masks and scented candles unless that's your thing. And even then, that's not the point. Self-care is war, quiet war, daily war. It's about showing up for yourself when no one else will. It's about building discipline, reclaiming your focus and protecting your peace like your life depends on it, because sometimes it does. You see, for most men, the idea of taking care of yourself sounds like weakness. We're taught to grind, push through, be unshakable. But that constant hustle, that never-stop mentality, it breaks you down silently. And by the time you realize it, you're running on fumes, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's where Stoicism offers something most self-help fluff doesn't. It doesn't say feel good. It says do what needs to be done, especially when it's uncomfortable, and that's real self-care. Self-care is waking up early to move your body because no one else is going to carry your weight. It's sitting in silence with your thoughts instead of drowning them in distractions. It's reading something challenging instead of scrolling for comfort. It's what you do when no one's watching, the habits you build that no one applauds, the choices you make when it would be easier not to. And here's where it hits harder. Self-care is also about what you stop doing. Stop checking their profile. Stop rereading messages they stopped replying to. Stop thinking healing will come from someone who broke you. Taking care of yourself means pulling yourself out of that mental loop and asking, what am I feeding myself right now, mentally, physically, emotionally? If it's not building you, it's breaking you, period. You don't need a fancy routine. You don't need 10 steps. You need honesty, and then action. Are you sleeping enough? Are you moving your body with purpose? Are you letting junk thoughts take over your mind day after day? Because self-care isn't about escaping, it's about reinforcing. It's you saying, I'm worth the effort, even on the days I feel like nothing. You want to detach emotionally from someone. Start by reconnecting with yourself. A lot of guys lose themselves in relationships because they stop maintaining their own structure, their own standard, their own fire. You were a fortress before you started bending for someone else's comfort. Now it's time to rebuild. Start small. 1 better meal, 1 hour away from screens, 1 hour of deep work instead of busy noise. Stack those hours, stack those days. That's how you rise. And don't wait to feel motivated. Motivation is a liar. Self-care doesn't need you to feel like it. It needs you to act like it. Over and over. Until it becomes your default setting. Because here's what no one tells you. The stronger you become at taking care of yourself, the less permission you need from the world. And that changes everything. You'll stop waiting for her to text. You'll stop needing external validation. You'll stop bending your peace just to be chosen. Because when you're grounded, nourished, strong, you become undeniable, not loud, not cocky, just solid. And people feel that. They feel when a man takes care of himself, not just physically but mentally. They feel when he walks into a room without chasing attention because he's already clear on who he is. They feel when he's unavailable to chaos because he's already invested in clarity. Comment below, I want this. If you're done treating self-care like an option and ready to make it your foundation, because it's not about ego, it's not about vanity, it's about respect for your time, your energy, your mind, your future. That's rule number 9. And it might be the quietest one, but believe me, it's the one everything else depends on. Rule number 10. Practice gratitude. Let me guess, when you hear the word gratitude, something in you rolls its eyes a little. It sounds nice, soft, polite, like something people post about with sunsets and coffee mugs. But let's drop the fluffy version. Gratitude isn't weakness, it's not denial. It's not forcing yourself to be positive when things feel like they're falling apart. Real gratitude, the kind that Stoics talked about, is raw, grounded, and deeply powerful. It's not about ignoring the pain. It's about learning how to see clearly through it. See, most people think they'll feel grateful after life gets better, after the money comes, after the person comes back, after the situation finally works out. But that's backwards. That's reactive living. Gratitude isn't the result of peace, it's the trigger for it. When you practice gratitude, you're not pretending life is perfect. You're reminding yourself of what's still solid when everything else feels uncertain. You're anchoring yourself in what you have, not obsessing over what you lost. And if you're trying to detach emotionally from someone, if you're trying to rebuild your sense of self, gratitude isn't a bonus tool, it's essential. Because when someone pulls away, your brain loves to fixate on the gap. What you're not getting, what's missing, what's gone. But gratitude shifts the spotlight. It forces you to ask, what's still here that I've been ignoring? Your breath, your strength, your progress, your capacity to heal, to grow, to keep showing up. That's not small stuff. That's everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." That wasn't poetry. That was armor, mental armor. And you need that armor especially in the quiet moments. When the loneliness hits, when you question your worth, when you're tempted to reach back out just to feel something again. In those moments, gratitude can break the loop. Try this when the urge hits stop. Breathe. And list 5 things you're grateful for in this moment. Doesn't have to be profound, just honest. Clean water, a body that still gets up, a mind that's learning, a second chance in the next hour, a lesson learned from pain that once broke you. You start doing that regularly, and you'll notice something wild. You stop chasing chaos. You stop romanticizing what hurt you. You stop needing someone else to make your life feel meaningful. Because your focus has shifted. Your lens has changed. You've trained your eyes to see what builds you, not just what breaks you. And look, I get it. It won't always come easy. There will be days when everything in you resists the idea of being grateful, when your mind just wants to spiral. But that's exactly when you double down on it, not because you feel like it, but because you need it. Gratitude isn't about pretending things are fine. It's about taking control of where your attention goes, because your attention is your energy, and your energy builds your reality. So where's your attention going? To the one who walked away, to the story you keep rewriting in your head, or to the quiet, solid truth of who you're becoming? Comment below. I've felt that. If you've ever caught yourself spiraling over someone and forgot how much you've actually overcome, you've made it this far. That's not luck. That's not random. That's you surviving things your past self didn't think you could. And that deserves recognition, not from the world, from you. Practicing gratitude is how you remind yourself of your own power every single day. And when you do that enough, the external noise loses its grip. Their silence doesn't sting the same. Their absence doesn't define you, because you've started focusing on what's within, not what's missing. That's rule number 10. Practice gratitude, not as a trend, not as a performance, but as a daily act of war against bitterness, entitlement, and despair. And when you do it right, gratitude won't just change your mindset, it'll change your posture, your presence, your peace. And that's the kind of strength no one can take from you. If you made it this far, it says something about you. You're not just watching, you're building, quietly, patiently, with intention, because you know this isn't just about getting over someone. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't lose himself in the process. That's what Stoicism is really about. Power not over others, but over yourself. Mastery, not through noise, but through presence. Peace, not because life is easy, but because you've learned to stand still in the middle of chaos. And if that's a path you want to keep walking, then this isn't the last time we meet. Subscribe now. Join the Brotherhood. Because this channel isn't entertainment. It's training, mental, emotional, stoic. And if you're ready to go even deeper, become a channel member. Inside we talk like men. We go past the surface. We sharpen each other. No drama, no fluff. Just direction. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, stay solid. Stay sharp. Stay unavailable to anything that costs you your peace. You've got this.